We good? We live?
We're live.
Hey.
Hey, this is Justin from Video Creators Lounge. We're taking a little departure from our normal content of showcasing musical artists and doing the weekly news. And I'm here with the crew, and we figured it's a little late night, but just talk about movies, films, production, acting, things that we like to talk about. So if that's your bag, then you should totally keep listening, and if not, you should totally keep listening anyway. So
yeah, just stick around. I'm sure we're going to say something that piques your interest.
We have no real agenda, but a lot of the conversations that I have with these wonderful people here, Rajawa, Brooke Lambert, Ken Almquist, all video artists and video creators and editors and all of that, a lot of the conversations that we have are sometimes interesting, sometimes they're not.
And my stuff is always interesting.
Ken's stuff is always interesting. So we figured, what the heck, why don't we just fire up the mics and the cameras and talk about movies, production, film, art, editing, and go from there.
Yeah, cool. Who wants to kick it off?
Well, Ken, what are you working on right now? Like we just did an interview, but I didn't actually ask you anything like more current. Like what's on for you right now?
Right now, still just Cardiac's Kitchen is front and like at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
See, that your Boston accent just came out there.
Oh, of course it is.
Say it again.
What?
Forefront.
Forefront?
No.
Cardiac's.
The show.
Oh, it's called Cardiac's Kitchen. It's supposed to have a Boston accent.
No R there. That's
Yeah.
an H.
Cardiac's Kitchen.
Cardiac.
That, and I'm editing Code 13, which is a long time coming series, like a web series. It's a cop drama. It's about a sting that went wrong, and it's supposed to be from the perspective of the detectives, and they've got a film crew following them. So it's supposed to be just a regular day on the job, but then the film crew ends up capturing something crazy, and we go through that. So that should be a fun show.
Is that like a Beantown thing?
Yeah,
or
that's
what?
Beantown.
Yeah.
They filmed that a few years ago, and I've been working with them kind of passively, but now more aggressively. We're really trying to get this thing finished and out there.
Nice.
So that's another thing I'm working on right now.
What's more to wrap up? What do you guys have to wrap up on that?
Basically, the editing.
Yeah.
It's one of those like nightmare projects where they worked in conjunction with somebody else. There was a ton of footage, no organization at all, just thrown at me, and I had to work my organizational magic and then put a rough cut together. And now me and Sang are working together, really just like retiming everything, just trying to add interest and suspense and stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, we're looking forward to a big reveal on that soon.
File management. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, file management is incredibly important.
This is the project that you were working on that made me realize what editing was. Because Ken showed me a rough raw footage and then his finished product. And I got to see them side by side, like a before and after, and it was really pretty amazing seeing the work you did.
Shine a light on what actually happens in editing, what you can do.
So Code 13 is going to be a movie that will be released a feature film, or is it?
It's gonna be a mini series.
Okay.
I think we're
TV
aiming for
series.
3 episodes of about 50 minutes each.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And when, where can people, or will you think people will be able to see it?
We're not exactly sure. See, we had a deadline set for a premiere before COVID shut everything down.
COVID, what's that?
Oh, you know, that coronavirus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that thing that just ruined the world. So, yeah, it very much slowed down my editing process. So we're still trying to stick to our original date. And we can't host a premiere now because of restrictions. So we might do it virtual. We're still feeling it out, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's just something else I have to say. We'll wait and see what we're able to do.
And for any of those wondering, we do take COVID precautions here at the lounge. We do the take people's temperature,
Yep.
sanitize, and get tested. So we are all good. How are you doing? Are you all good?
I'm all good. I'm always all good.
So what's the hostess with the mostest here? What's the what's the topic of conversation tonight?
Well, it's kind of inside baseball, but I was thinking about the idea that, with higher and higher resolution cameras, 8K specifically, like they're trying to advertise the idea that you can do more in less time by just using an 8K and then cropping your angles to 4K. Like you just making angles out of a whole 8K shot.
That's shoddy.
It's not only not
That
only
is
Shoddy.
so shoddy.
no,
Shoddy.
I don't even think it's shoddy.
But
I
who?
mean,
Wait a minute. But who is saying this? by the way?
well, it's promotion. They're like, buy our 8K camera. You don't have to do shot, and you can just shoot one full car angle, and now you got two. You got the passenger and driver angle built in.
Wow.
There's a lot more. Like, I'm not a huge DP guy, but there's a lot more that goes into a shot than just like, here it is. Like, sometimes the framing of the passenger this way, slightly,
Yeah, the
slightly
perspective.
angled. Or,
Yeah,
exactly.
Perspective of it all.
Perspective. They act like you just record it and it's done, and I think that's a bad mindset to give people, especially prosumers. They think they can just like, oh, I'll just buy an 8K camera and just edit it later. It doesn't matter what I shoot.
Yeah, and a prosumer, do they have an editing system that can handle that footage? That's the other thing.
Too. It's a very good point.
Because I'm a professional editor, and I'm not sure I can handle that footage.
8K is a beast.
Yes. Like, as it is, I tried doing some work in After Effects on 6K. I forgot that I was working in 6K, and my computer was crashing for months. I was like, what is going on? Then I looked, I was like, oh my God, what am I working on?
Yeah, it's crazy, and I never got huge into 4K, 2K, whatever. Like, I mean, I still shoot 1080, but like, and I get the value of it, but it seems to be more. It seems to be losing its point. It should be for getting crisp details, getting wide, like beautiful landscapes. I don't know. I can't think of the exact applications, but it shouldn't be to cheat the production process.
Right, I agree with that. I think it has its place, but it shouldn't be used as like a workaround.
Shouldn't
Like-
be used in the forefront.
Not in the forefront.
Yeah, I'm making fun of my Boston accent.
Yeah.
Oh, fearless leader, where did you go?
I said adjust some microphone there.
Oh, okay.
Raj's mic was a little bit low, but
Oh.
I think people can hear us.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is, I mean, here's an interesting question. Who is actually watching 4K? Now, I do a lot of stuff in 4K. Of course, these live streams for various reasons, because we're simulcasting, we don't do 4K. It, kind of down converts from HD. But anything I like to shoot at the highest resolution. It gives more options for editing and punching in and zooming and all of that stuff. If you need to crop a little bit, not crop like you described, because I totally agree that you want the right. It's if you get like a flat dead on. If you get people in a car, you want perspective, you want the angle. But the interesting thing is, who. I'm not advocating not to record in 4K and all of that, but one thing to think about is who is actually watching 4K. Now, I have a 4K TV. Am I watching 4K?
No?
No, I have a 4K TV, right? Or ultra high def, right? Am I watching 4K most of the time? No. And it's the cable boxes, right? They're not, most of them are not 4K or ultra high def, or if they are, the broadcast is so compressed anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So the only people watching 4K, at least at home, are the people that are invested in the 4K, like that Blu-ray and.
Yeah, they got the advanced hardware that can send out the 4K signal. People with gamers with the PlayStation 4 Pro and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. So people using PlayStation 4. And most of the movies you buy right now, you still can't buy 4K streaming. They're a little bit, or ultra high def streaming. They're more and more becoming available, but
yeah, it's becoming more and more available. I feel like it's becoming. It's probably not there yet, but it's becoming the mainstream. But as far as like 6K and 8K, I don't think streaming in that's for somebody with a lot of disposable income.
So where did you see them? Like, was this it wasn't like a red camera or anything like that?
I don't remember the exact camera. I remember seeing the
I think it was a Blackmagic.
it might be a Blackmagic. It was a placemat at a camera store. I might have say Hunt's or something, but yeah, it was showing like, oh, you got a whole car, and here's 8K, and then they showed two smaller boxes of 4K on each person, the passenger and the driver.
Funny.
And I'm like, yeah, you can do that, but it's exactly what you said. It's flat. There's no perspective. There's no angle. No, like, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, I think, for anyone who's just a little bit film savvy, just a little bit even, like, you're going to tell something's off about the way this was cut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's too similar. It's too flat.
Yeah. I mean, you can. Filming at a high resolution is good for, like, minor cropping here and there, so, punching in if you need to, or do like a jump cut or something like that. But yeah, it's different than it's almost like being lazy when what that advertisement is describing. It's like, no, if you're gonna have a shot, be purposeful about the shot and angle it, appropriately, right?
I would say so, and I think too when you punch in like that, especially from that much dimension, I think you're gonna notice at least a slight what do you call it, fuzziness, a slight lack of sharpness, because I just don't think it's possible to have, like, I don't think you can go from an 8K image to a smaller 4K, like, punched in, and have it completely, like, crisp as the 8K that shot it.
Interesting, yeah. That makes sense.
Anytime I've punched in, I've never seen that, but perhaps I've punched in too far. So
there's science that kind of describes what you're saying, and I am not smart enough to articulate it. But yeah, there's about the sensor, and But I think not only are you right, like, there's sides behind why you're right too, and I don't know. Again, it's about the. Well, we were talking about the Sony A7S III, where it's like, what, 12 megapixels? It's, 4K, you can do 4K at 120 FPS, but it's only got like 12 or 14 megapixels, which is, that's all that's needed in order to produce that 4K. So, even though it's a camera, the other A7 IIIs have, much more megapixels, which is great for photos, but for video, it actually works out better because apparently the sensor is bigger per pixel that is trying to get up, and therefore it's better in low light, and the sensor is larger, and all of that stuff. But anyway, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So before we go on, someone has a special announcement recently, Brooke. Do you want to communicate? Are you allowed to communicate any special announcement recently that you've come across?
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I do have a special announcement, I guess. It's a funny. I
just want to shout out to Becky. No, Becky, it's not what you think.
I wish I understood. Anyway, hi. So, yes, oh no, Becky, it's not what you think. Yes, that's true. It's so true. Okay, so now, yes, I'm excited because I'm an artist in the community. I live in Lowell, but I just got an opportunity to be on the Amesbury Cultural Council as a member, so I'll be doing and helping with public arts initiatives, arts enrichment in the community, and just being part of helping Amesbury expand their community. And
this is Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Amesbury, Massachusetts, yes.
Very good.
Tell them how you got on board with that.
Well, you can't get away with that. You said Becky. I have to show her this now.
Oh, she's got to see it. She's got to watch.
Yes. So I got on board with being in Amesbury at all because I actually started to look for public art that I could do in different communities in Massachusetts, and ran into a electrical box project. So many of the towns in Massachusetts do this, but they'll have artists paint electrical boxes, and electrical boxes are usually very ugly. So it really, like, brightens them up and adds color to a pretty, like, dismal space. So I got to make one in Amesbury by the bike path. And through doing that, I met Shannon, who is one of the members of ACC, Amesbury Cultural Council, and she told me about the opportunity to be involved in the council. And I applied and was just accepted.
Congratulations.
Great.
Art in Amesbury. We dig it. Nice, cool.
Yeah.
So, what's your first initiative? Bringing film, right? Film and video.
It's a secret, yes. No, I bring film and video, of course. No, I really like to just help them do what they're already doing. I mean, Amesbury has a really big, growing art community, and they're starting to do things even despite COVID. They had a Chalk the Walk 2 weeks ago where members of the community could come and draw their own designs, be artists themselves, and really get involved, bring their families, and actually draw designs with chalk on the sidewalk and on big patios. They also had artists who were there who were doing the designs. I was not one of the artists, but I do know some of the people who were involved. And it was great because everyone followed procedures and social distancing guidelines, but it was still a really great event that was able to happen despite everything going on. So I think it's, how I'd like to be involved is kind of continuing those events and making sure really fun, artistic things happen, even though COVID has definitely been a damper on things.
Yeah.
But.
Cool. We should do a video for Amesbury to promote them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Chamber of Commerce, I'm sure, would dig it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what else is on the docket here?
I mean, movie-wise, has anyone seen anything like movie-wise that they want to talk about?
Well, first of all, has anyone been to a movie since COVID?
Not since COVID.
I have actually.
Have you?
What?
It was to a drive-in.
Oh, the drive-in, yeah.
Yeah, which I think actually is worth mentioning because drive-ins are awesome.
Yeah, we went to the Topsfield Fairgrounds drive-in theater.
We saw Jaws.
It was awesome.
And there were some brats in front of us who kept turning on the lights.
Oh my god! They were in a pickup truck in front of us.
Things you never think of.
They kept on turning their headlights on, and I'm like.
And I was just like, come on.
I had to go up to them.
But other than that, it was nice. It was actually quite fun.
You guys, is this the first time seeing the movie Jaws?
No.
No, okay.
First time at a drive-in theater, though.
First time at a drive-in theater for Ken, though. I had been to drive-ins when I was younger, but Ken had never been. So
how did they do the audio?
Through the radio.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, AM radio station.
AM, interesting. All right, so they had a little AM
Was it
transmitter.
It was FM.
Maybe it was FM. When I was a kid, they did AM because they wanted to not disrupt other channels, but
Yeah, cool. Yeah, FM, you get the stereo. I think, do they do stereo and AM now? I think they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
What does that mean?
Stereo, left and right channel.
Oh, I didn't know
The
that.
highest quality fidelity.
Is that why they call it? Oh wait, no, of course they call it stereo. But wait, I'm thinking of confusing FM and AM. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But
Well,
it was
I don't know.
sad
Back in the
'cause
day, AM was just mono. I don't know if it still is.
I didn't know.
the fair was canceled this year at Topsfield, so it was nice.
Built a big drive-in theater.
Yeah, they built a big theater, and it was really nice to still be there, in the atmosphere
So-
and like.
Would the Topsfield Fair be going on right now?
No.
Topsfield, Massachusetts.
It would have been like last month,
It would have been in
September.
August. Oh no,
I think it would still be going on now, wouldn't it? No.
No.
I think it's an earlier. I'm pretty sure it's September.
Is it September?
Yeah, so
Maybe
I was just
August or
I was just
September.
up that area. It is
Yeah.
beautiful, and the Ipswich River
Yeah.
is like if any photographers or filmmakers want to get. I mean, we still have a couple weeks left of foliage. Did I say that right this time?
Foliage,
Yeah.
Like that area is beautiful. Up Route 1, up by Topsfield, and then you go up by Ipswich and the Ipswich River. If you need some like good shots, head up that way. And now we don't have to worry about traffic because the fair, the traffic used to be brutal coming off of Route 1 in that area.
Yeah, traffic on Route 1 would be backed up for miles during the fair. It's
So
ridiculous.
how do you know that though? Because you grew up.
I grew up in Lynn.
Yeah, you grew up in Lynn, so that's you got that.
I basically, growing up, I went to the Topsfield Fair every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the high? Like the one thing that I remember about the fair is that they had I mean, they had a ton of things, right? As a kid, I think the pumpkin, the oversized
Oh
pumpkins.
yeah, the
they
giant
had-
pumpkins, the rides, especially as a kid, they had the rides. The animals, they had like a bull. It was just
Yeah.
like could barely fit in this room. The thing's
I really
horns
liked
were-
the honey shop.
Oh
that
yeah,
they have.
they
have,
got
like,
a
all different
beekeeping
kinds of honey.
thing.
And
yeah,
like
there's a
it's
ton of
all like
food,
different,
fried dough.
like different kinds of like the filtration in the honey like cause it to be different colors and from different types of bees, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
But- and they have like actual scientists that know a lot about bees. I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
But
Sometimes they'll have live
Yeah.
performances and stuff.
yeah, we saw I think
So-
a band there.
So I
last
haven't
year.
seen any. I don't know what movie, like new release movie, even on TV that they've been releasing it on TV. I don't know if I've seen anything recently. Have you? So you haven't been to a theater?
I have
since
not been
COVID.
to a theater since COVID, and probably I don't go to the theater too much. I like to be alone. The last movie I saw was actually not that long ago though. I saw Ad Astra with what's his name, handsome man. Not Ben. What?
Brad Pitt.
Brad. Thank you, Brad Pitt. He is a handsome man.
What's the name of the movie? I don't know.
Ad
Ad
Astra.
Astra.
It's a space movie. Did you see
Is
it?
that what Brad Pitt?
Yeah, Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
That's right.
I saw it, but we set up the theater at Beantown and we played it. But for some reason, during like a lot of the action, I had to step away.
I've seen it twice. Yeah.
What is your? I mean, not this is a movie
It
review, but what's your opinion?
it seems like a rather slow movie,
Yeah.
but the action was pretty good.
I thought there were some lulls, like kind
Yeah.
of it was kind of slow. I did think the character development of like the father, not to give too much away,
Yeah.
could have been a little more developed just because I didn't really understand till the end a lot of it, and I think maybe that was the point. But for my attention level, I wish it had come a little sooner. That kind of the character development could have been a little bit brought out in the beginning as well, so we understood that relationship between father and son. But
That movie was kind of all about the ending. Like you kind of had is almost in Magnolia in that way, because you have to watch the whole movie to like fully appreciate everything that came before.
Magnolia is a commitment.
Well, it is, and much better. It's much
Commitment
better
we
than that.
didn't make.
We
But
started that movie.
we didn't make the
We
commitment.
started it, but then we're like, oh my god, there's still an hour
But
and a half.
have you Brooke? You saw
I
that
have
movie,
seen it,
right?
yeah.
I still need to see the
He
rest
needs
of it.
to see
yeah.
the rest, yeah.
That's one of the movies that it builds tension for like 2.5 hours.
the whole movie, the whole
Yeah.
It's
movie.
sustained. The unbelievable thing about that movie is that it sustains tension for that long, where it's like, and then it's really at the end, the payoff is like, 5 seconds.
Right.
And so it's all you watch 2.5 to 3 hours, but it's gratifying. Like the ending, like for me anyway, it's just one of my favorite movie endings. It's just
Right.
perfect. I love it.
I think for me, I have trouble. I mean, I'd be curious what Raj thinks, or Ken too, or you. But like, I don't know. I feel like I have trouble with movies like that, just because even if the payoff is that big, I want something throughout. I want kind of like, I already said, like development of characters, and like I want to really like feel invested the whole time. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about movies like that in general that have a bigger ending but kind of build up from the beginning.
I might be mischaracterizing it a little bit. I mean, there's like interesting aspects of the
Well,
movie.
it's a super interesting movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying personally, for my taste, I like movies that are more. I guess the whole thing is like really intense all the way through, rather than a big ending. But
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
I know it's still intense.
the ending.
Yeah.
It's not like a big like finale, like fireworks type of ending, but
Yeah.
it's like
ties the bow.
it wraps it
Ties
up.
the bow is a good
Yeah.
way of saying it. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting because there's certain movies. I may be getting off topic, but there's certain movies that.
What topic?
There is no topic.
Right, but there's certain movies that like they are that experience, and you have to sit through the whole thing, and or like there's movies that you will spoil it if you tell any part of the movie. But then there's certain movies like Her, which
Oh, yeah.
like it's more of an experience to watch. It's not really like there's nothing to spoil per se about the movie. Like it's just it's almost like a
lobster.
slice of life.
The
The
lobster.
lobster.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
see
I have
that?
not seen the oh yeah.
The,
That's a good example.
Yeah, The Lobster is like a very strange movie, very kind of slow, but you're watching it. It's just
Yeah.
the things are just unraveling throughout.
You get
You're like,
immersed in this world, but there's nothing to really
What
like.
is this? The
The
Lobster?
Lobster.
I remember
Starring,
ads for it, but I never saw it.
Is it a
Colin
feature
Farrell.
film?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a feature film. You can find it on Netflix. I think it might even be a Netflix film. It's called The Lobster. It has Joaquin Phoenix in it. He's the main character.
I thought it was Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
It's Colin Farrell.
Oh, I was thinking of Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Colin
Her,
Farrell.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
And I'm pretty sure John C. Reilly's in it too.
yeah.
Ooh.
And it's just like basically this man, Colin Farrell, like finds himself without a partner in a world where partners are
Like mandatory.
Mandatory, like you have to have a equal male female partner, and he finds himself single and basically is kind of this society that doesn't allow that, and what has to happen to single people. It's a very fucked up movie actually.
It is.
But very interesting, and like going along with what you were talking about kind of a movie that doesn't have like a crazy like a tied bow or even a crazy ending. It's
The
like
end makes you
the
cringe.
end makes you just kind of even more sorry for this character. Like it just kind of like ends with the whole thing.
A cringeworthy
Yeah.
circumstance.
Anyway, it was.
Rachel Weisz. She's the female in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Her is a really good example too. I've seen Her. Yeah.
When you were talking about, and especially in terms of cringe, I notice my girlfriend, she has a very visceral reaction to, and we were talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, Adam Sandler in, God, why can't I? The only movie.
The Gems thing?
No, not Gems. No,
Oh,
that's
God.
not Paul Thomas. I don't think it's Paul Thomas.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very.
That was kind of a tough one to
It
watch
is.
too.
It is a tough movie. I personally I connect with that character
Yeah.
a lot. But
But you seem so calm most of the time. Does that mean you punch walls and
I see. I don't have four sisters. See, that seemed like the key detail to his life that made it so difficult. But yeah, people who like Adam Sandler for what Adam Sandler-ness he does, like really hate that movie or really hate him when he does those type of characters. I'm guessing Uncut Gems included.
Yeah,
because it is
let's
something
not
different.
even go there. It's yeah.
But I mean, I think the thing, I don't know what the question is. I think Adam Sandler's a much better performer than people give him credit for, but it's like almost like, don't do that. No, we don't want that, Adam Sandler. Give us the funny man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
He
I don't know if
does have the potential. Like he can be a phenomenal actor, but you can tell like he just likes to have fun in his movies.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, a lot
I
of
mean,
comedians
I was-
have had trouble like breaking through to drama. What oh boy, the SNL. I know the Living Color guy.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
I
Jim
think
Carrey
Jim
has tried
Carrey.
that a handful of times.
But
to
he was
try to be
successful.
in dramas, and well, all right. So which ones was he successful in?
The Truman Show was successful.
So that was good. There was some comedic elements in there too. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like 100% drama.
Man on the Moon. That movie nearly broke him.
Yeah.
But in the vein of Punch Drunk Love, you have him in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
I was just
Mind.
thinking that one too.
And that probably, I think it did well. I don't think it did as well as him doing his other Jim Carrey stuff, or even Truman Show, or Liar Liar, which is a more
Liar Liar is definitely like
it's
typical
comedy.
Jim Carrey
that
comedy.
is true. I just think it's a more naturalistic
Yeah.
character rather than his Ace Ventura.
I loved him in the number 23.
Yeah,
Like he
Yeah,
was
that was
very
dark.
twisted.
That
in
was a
that.
dark,
I thought that was
twisted-
great.
that's one that doesn't come up a lot too.
I
People
liked
don't mention
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I like that movie as well. It's a great indie film.
I think because he's someone that has such a heightened, like, when he's funny, he's super funny, and that's such a higher level of emotion than most people even show. I think it's interesting to see him when he shows like his other side, like his darker or sadder side. That's why I liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, is because he shows that like darker, more sad side to his personality.
His foray as Terrence McKenna hasn't come out yet, right? That's just something that was being recorded.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Like that, that's why he's kind of like gone a little wacky. They think because he was playing Terrence McKenna. Like,
Nah, he went a little wacky because of playing Andy Kaufman.
well, that too, that of course. But I think he just continued down that path because Terrence McKenna is also a. If you guys aren't familiar, he advocates for psychedelics, but not in like a drugs, dude. Like a higher, he's like a science, higher being, higher consciousness person, and I want to say he has some credentials to back that up, but I couldn't say out of school at the moment.
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't heard anything about that one.
The one thing I think about is in Punch Drunk Love is man, Philip Seymour Hoffman had some some pretty there were some great scenes with him, and he was just phenomenal.
Very intense as the
he was great
mattress
though.
salesman.
He was great. He owned that role though. I mean, he stole. Some ways he kind of. I mean, he steals every role, right? I mean, what movie is Philip Seymour Hoffman in that he doesn't just whenever he's in a scene, he steals the scene.
All about
Magnolia, I mean, that was amazing.
He was great in that. He was even Moneyball. There was an interview with Brad Pitt and it was Jonah Hill.
Okay.
And they both were like, they're both accomplished with Brad Pitt, especially, right, accomplished actor, but they were both like humbled by him. And I don't think they were just blowing sunshine up his ass. I think they were being very candid to be like, when he played the coach in the movie there for the was it the Athletics or the Angels? Athletics, I think. And they were just in the interview. It was just interesting to see Brad and Jonah being like, they wouldn't be able to hold a candle to Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I don't think I can. If I go through his entire IMDb and watch every movie, I don't think you could probably find a bad performance by him. Like even his, I believe it's his last film with the. He played a German police inspector with a German accent. Totally odd, hard to listen to the first couple of lines, but then you're just completely immersed in it, and it was a good movie too. I enjoyed watching it, but watching him on screen. Is my favorite actor.
What was the name of the movie?
I'd have to look it up. I'll look it up while we're sitting here.
I feel like I saw it. That's why
it was a really good movie. I have to look it up.
He definitely was one of those actors where like once you saw his face or you saw his name in the credits, you were like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned John C. Reilly earlier too.
He's another
one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's also like he's kind of typecast into like the oddball, quirky character. But he's another one that can do like drama and be very good at it.
They did the movie about the play Chicago. They turned it into a movie.
Chicago, and he did Mr. Cellophane.
Mr. Cellophane Man. Like he was great in that too. Like
he can sing.
And Boogie Nights, he was hysterical. He was very, very funny in that.
That was is a Most Wanted Man. He played Gunther Bachmann.
Yeah, I did see that.
So is that worth watching?
I think so. It's definitely. Actually, I don't want to give anything away, but it's definitely worth watching. Just don't get excited.
just don't get excited now.
It's good, but it's really good. I think it really. You can feel his emotion. I'm going to leave it there. You can feel his emotion in that film, especially at the end.
So, all right. So, any other COVID movies, new movies that you've seen, films that you've seen on TV, or something that was released during?
Well, Hubie Halloween.
Yeah, Hubie Halloween.
Now, did you watch the whole thing all the way through?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I was entertained by it.
Yeah,
I-
What's it called exactly?
Hubie.
Hubie Halloween.
Yeah, think
Confusing.
of like
I thought it was Hubby, but it's Hubie, not two B's,
because
one
it's
B.
Hubert. Think
Oh,
of
okay.
Hubie
Yeah, so
Halloween.
his nickname is Hubie.
And they joke on the name a lot in that
Did
film.
our buddy Mark make it into the movie? Do we know?
I haven't found him, but then again, he was in costume, and I don't know what costume.
But
to
you
look
were
for.
in there. You got some.
Yeah, I got some FaceTime.
You got some FaceTime.
2 seconds.
A second and a half. Yeah.
Yay.
How many frames?
I don't know, maybe.
One.
48
No,
frames.
the camera pans across, and you can see me. It's like a big crowd, people in costumes, and I'm not in costume. I'm just big smile on my face.
Yeah. Looking like he's having fun at a party.
Yeah, because I was. It was a blast.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, was it? Fun?
Yeah.
Like doing the whole thing?
had a great
absolutely.
time.
Where was your scene in that movie shot?
I was there for the filming of the first scene in Marblehead.
Okay.
And then but you can't see me because I'm too far in the back, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they were just like, "Hey, do you want to come to this next scene?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
So I went to Salem by the Willows, where they had the big mess tent, the costumes, the makeup, everything. Got everybody set up, and then we went over to the Common, where they were doing like the Halloween festival, and that's the scene where I spotted myself.
Now, did they? I've never been an extra in a film, but did they have food for you guys? Like,
yeah.
They hooked you up.
There's the SAG union tent, which is glamorous, and then there's the non-union tent, which is
Less
so far from it. It's just like, here you go. It's like a prison line.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, and like there was some miscommunication because everybody goes into the tent at once, and people are like, oh yeah, here's the food for you guys, blah blah blah. So people who are non-union are going and grabbing
Dun, dun,
snacks,
dun.
and then you got these fucking union snobs like, meh, that's not for you. I'm like, jeez.
Nice.
I'm probably never gonna be a union actor, so whatever. But it was still a lot of fun. And I'd do it again, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were people getting like liquored up on set? Were people drinking beers or like, what? You're there all day, right? At
Not that
the end
I
of the
could
night.
see. Not that I
Okay.
could see.
Yeah.
Like I actually even made the mistake of pulling out my camera and taking pictures. 'Cause
Ooh.
I know that's a no-no.
Yeah.
But I'm like in the environment. Oh my god, this is so awesome! Like, and one of the he was a union guy. He and I kind of became buddies. So he's like, dude, don't do that. I'm like, oh. Fuck, you're right.
Now, did you see any of the equipment that they were using? They were filmed. Do you know what it was filmed on? Was it like an Alexa?
I didn't
or
get
Red,
I didn't get a close look at the
Yeah, yeah.
cameras, but they had this little electric buggy where they had the crane on the buggy because they were
Right.
following him around on
Yeah.
his bike, and it was I don't know. I got
You
to
were
see.
very close.
Yeah, during one scene where he's on his bike, he kept on like leaving and having to circle back, and I'm like there on the sidewalk, and he's like right there. So he was like joking with me and stuff, but I never like interacted back because
Yeah.
like I've been on a set with like John Travolta, and people are like, do not engage him, don't engage him. So I'm
Right,
like,
right.
all right, so just don't engage the talent. But I'm like, he's actually engaging me. What do I do? So I was just like, hey,
Don't
cool,
look him in the eye.
cool.
Isn't that like kind of rule with like Prince? It's like Prince had all these rules. Apparently,
Yeah.
he would. He's the musician there, but he had all these rules that would like people would in advance, like if they were sitting next to him at like an award ceremony or something like that,
Yeah.
they're like, you're not to look at him in the eye and like all this crazy stuff.
Nah, Adam Sandler, he was. I think he was trying to get me to just engage with him. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
fastest biker in
By
Marblehead."
everyone's account, everyone I know that was there said he was just like a really nice
Yeah,
guy.
he
And
really
I've always
was.
heard he's just a
Wicked
really
chill.
nice guy. Like, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's why I like him, is just because like I can tell he's a good person. I can tell he's a thoughtful actor, even though he does like silly, stupid humor a lot. He also like definitely has like a seasoned way of being with people. He's very professional and kind. So
And in between scenes, like getting set up for the next scene or whatever, like some extras would run up to him and ask for a picture, and he'd be really cool about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I wasn't the one like, hey, Adam, let me get a picture.
I wish you were that guy, but
But
No,
no,
there's like 20 million people coming up to
Yeah.
him.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
let
Forget about it.
the
Right.
guy relax, No.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
But
it's cool.
I saw.
I would have been that person.
I saw him. I saw two of his photo doubles. Who else? Rob Schneider was there. I saw,
You saw Kevin James, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Very cool.
You're no stranger to film sets. There, you've been on a bunch of them yourselves, or commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah, not too many commercials. No, I mean, a couple, but mostly, if it was commercials, mostly like spec or like a small time. But I've definitely been on sets a good number of times. The last background extra work I did was something earlier this year in January, right before COVID came down. I was in Isla Fisher, but I don't remember. It was something Stepmother or Godmother, something of that title was the film, and it was interesting. It was about a news crew, and the classic. I don't have enough time for love. I'm busy with my career, and then she does find or something to that effect. But yeah, I was there for a couple days, and it was great.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie I'd love.
I like Isla Fisher. I think she's funny.
She's
funny.
She's great to be on set with too.
Yeah.
She's nice. Yeah, it was great. The experience is great. I'm a little more weary to go back into extra work in this post-COVID world.
Yeah.
Like I mean, even just going to have to get tested in the first place to do that is kind of a little much. But you know, I'm coming from a bad perspective because I want to be the star, but like you're already not treated the best as an extra already. I feel like post-COVID it's gonna be even more like, no, don't do that. Don't get too close to the talent. You have to be in your zone. You have to it's a little, I feel like the game is going to change until maybe for the foreseeable future. Maybe it'll get back to something normal, resembling normal in
the new normal.
The new normal, I know, right?
I mean, it seems that like a lot of the productions have been halted, and the ones that have started to come back have been much smaller. Like you were on a music video set and I was nearby helping out a little bit, and like there was a very reduced cast and crew than would have been before COVID. So I think what you're saying is interesting about like, what's the future for this? Like how, are you gonna have to get a COVID test every time you're even an extra? And I think that's really interesting, but I also think like it's shifted a lot, like what's actually required. Like maybe we don't need these huge scenes with like 300 extras. Maybe we only need 20 extras. Or I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about like how they're going to adjust just in how they're filming, not even, are they going to reduce the numbers?
So do we know, like, is a lot of kind of upcoming movies being filmed in Boston now, or... I mean, there's been quite a bit.
They did just announce that there's like a pretty star-studded cast getting ready to film in Boston right now.
Oh yeah, they've been pretty hush-hush about it, right?
They are filming. Like,
they're Leonardo DiCaprio's in it. Who else? That's
what they're casting for.
It's The Departed 2.
Yeah.
Super Departed.
Is it the one they're casting for? I'm not sure.
I did just see something.
Departed again.
Re-Departed.
Is it? I think Jennifer Lawrence. I think she might be in it.
Well, no, they all died. There's no sequel in that movie. They're all dead at the end, most of them.
Oh, way to give it away.
Oh, wow, come on.
Oh,
no. You haven't seen The Departed by
know what
now.
they're
Come
casting
on.
for.
I know. We don't know.
There is a casting call right now for extras.
The woman who did the casting for Hubie Halloween did put out a notice that they're doing another casting.
That's right. You mentioned that.
That I actually just sent in my submission a few minutes ago.
Oh, nice.
I did as well.
Looks like it's Adam McKay's Don't Look Up, new Netflix movie. Director of Anchorman and Vice. So it'll be a comedy, most likely. And it is a star-studded cast. You got Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, Rob Morgan, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill.
Oh, wow.
Himesh Patel?
Yeah,
he was in Yesterday.
Has DiCaprio been in a lot of comedies?
He's been in some.
So do you think it's going to be a comedy or like a comedy drama type thing? Or
some. What? I mean, if you think about it, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was kind of a comedy. He had a bit of a comedic role in that.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but it is.
It's a
true.
bit of a stretch, but he
It
was
is true.
funny.
Yes,
Like-
He was funny, and the movie was kind of funny. I mean,
Oh,
he
the
is,
Scorsese.
like-
The Tarantino.
Yes.
Flick.
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
he was kind of funny in Wolf of Wall Street too. Like,
Yes.
he was.
He's definitely.
That's one
he
I
could
was
do it.
thinking
Like, there's no
about
doubt
for-
that he's.
yeah.
But Adam McKay's movies are like Anchor. I don't know if it will be like Anchorman, but.
But you get the straight man in Anchorman as well, and this is a specific example.
I think he could be hilarious.
But
Actually,
I'm sure.
like,
Vince Vaughn played a straight man in Anchorman for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
but it was
I
a
mean,
comedy.
It just
It's
depends
that
on
was
what
like
it is. It depends on what the part for Leonardo DiCaprio is.
Anchorman is a totally different type of movie, though, than like you're saying, than like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like not a drama. That's a total drama, mostly. I mean, it has funny parts.
Has
but-
anyone seen the like extended cut? Because I know Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had an extended cut. I don't even know. I think I assume it's available somewhere, but there was
didn't see it.
like an additional 45 minutes to an hour of footage or something to that
No,
degree.
I haven't seen
I
it.
think that's one of the
I
last
watched
movies we
it-
saw in theaters.
Yeah, I watched it out of theaters, but I also watched it in theaters. And in theaters, they didn't have the extended part.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah.
I did you see that? Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the movie?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I did see it. I wasn't too
You weren't thrilled?
impressed by
I
it.
loved it.
But I got bad
Yeah.
word about it early on.
Yeah.
We're saying it was kind of self-indulgent, Quentin Tarantino. Like
I like Quentin Tarantino's take on history.
I
Right,
mean,
right.
if you're watching a Quentin Tarantino film, I think you have to be ready for the fact that it's going to be a Quentin Tarantino film. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and it was, but I liked it, and I thought the ending was very, even if it was self-righteous, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, without giving
Oh my
saying
God,
anything,
it
I
was
thought it
great.
was great.
Well, it's funny because I think like the older generation experienced that film differently because they remember,
Right.
all of the real history that
Yeah.
occurred.
And they're like, this is what should have happened.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Right.
But yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we don't want to have too many spoilers here. But I enjoyed it. I dug it. Yeah, I think there's a part because he grew up in Hollywood Quentin Tarantino grew up in Hollywood around that time, so he kind of like. I think some people are saying that it was self-indulgent, where he just wanted to recreate his childhood to a degree, but he did a good job. Sunset Boulevard looked, I mean, pretty authentic to the time. It was amazing, the attention to detail there.
And the costume design too, like all of the costumes and just the sets, the interior of the houses, the cars, like down to everything was totally time period based.
that is impressive.
And I
especially
thought
for
that was
modern.
great. I mean, I thought that was really great. Even like the fact that he's feeding his dog, as like the old labels on the cans. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that was cool. How much attention they put into it.
I heard that Bruce Lee's family was pissed.
Oh yeah,
I was just gonna say that's I think
Pissed.
another reason why a lot of a sect of people don't like it is because of how
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was
Oh,
treated in that portrayed in that movie.
Yeah.
It does make you think, though. When I saw that scene, it did make you think, like, I wonder, I wonder how much of
was
it
he
was
an arrogant
just
ass like
bravado, and it was. I didn't expect that scene when I saw it. I saw it
No.
in theaters too.
I thought Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio both did amazing jobs in that movie.
Yeah.
To act like a struggling actor, it's like it takes something.
And I thought Brad Pitt, as basically his assistant, Leonardo's assistant, like really taking a step back. Like he's usually kind of the star. I mean, they're both usually the star, I guess, but seeing Brad Pitt in kind of a lesser and like a supportive role, I thought he did great. Like I don't think I'd ever seen him in a supporting role.
I
So
don't even know if you would characterize that as a supporting role. I mean, he was.
I don't know.
But I mean, yeah, to DiCaprio.
He was a supporting character.
I mean, he
yeah.
was definitely a lesser, less dominant character than Leonardo.
Yeah.
Like voice wise.
They might
I don't
have
know. I
actually
ththat was
had-
interesting.
They might have actually had equal screen time.
Yeah, so they're both starring. I think he was billed as supporting actor because I remember he got an award for it, and I'm pretty sure that was for supporting actor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I guess I'm just saying in the film that was his role, was to kind of build up
Right,
Leonardo's
right.
character, and Leonardo's a star and all this stuff, and he's just a stunt double. And I thought that it was interesting as Brad Pitt as just a stunt double. It was kind of a funny. That was funny in and of itself to me. But
one thing that I thought that was pretty funny is that how Brad Pitt is playing a stunt double, but then there's a scene where he's doing something ridiculous and you can see Brad Pitt's stunt double.
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah,
Oh, no
it was like the stunt double for the
That's
character of
funny.
stunt double.
yeah,
Is it meta or?
That would be
meta, very meta.
I think I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like Brad Pitt is more willing to take a supporting role. I think Leonardo DiCaprio, and he deserves it, but like he is the quintessential I'm gonna be the movie star. Like I think that's Leonardo DiCaprio's position. I looked at his credits, and he kind of doesn't have a movie where it's like I'm just gonna be silly now. It's kind of like all very like it's The Revenant, it's Inception, it's all like Shutter Island. It's all very like
very DiCaprio.
yeah.
Right.
It's almost his signature. These movies that he's in,
Yeah.
like he doesn't. Whereas I think of Brad Pitt, I immediately think of 12 Monkeys and like what a performance that was and how and that might even be a supporting performance because I don't know how
Bruce
much
Willis, right?
right.
Yeah,
Bruce
right,
Willis
yeah.
was a star. I don't think he was on camera nearly as much.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah, that's an interesting.
So I think Leonardo DiCaprio is kind of that quintessential like he is the guy. He's
The thing about him though is he used to die in everything. If you look back at Leonardo DiCaprio's like filmography, he dies in everything.
I know Titanic. Like what else?
The Revenant.
Oh, see, I didn't see Revenant yet.
yeah.
You
man.
killed it.
Me
You
neither.
killed it for me.
I haven't seen it, but the Quick and the Dead, Blood Diamond, he dies in everything.
The Quick and the-
He dies and
ruining-
he-
How many movies are
He
we
doesn't
spoiling
always
right now?
die, but he always
But-
struggles.
He
He always
The
has
Departed.
this like this struggle either with like life or himself or his family or something terrible attacking him.
Yeah, he
like,
would either
he's like,
finish off in a bad way,
Yeah.
or he'd be dead.
Yes.
And my thing is like in his later in his career, like towards now, like when he survives the end of the movie, I'm like, good job.
Yeah, I mean
Made it.
he plays a suffering character very well, or
Yeah, he
someone that's
does.
going through hardship very well. I actually would be very curious to see like the new movie you just talked about because if he's in a comedic role, I mean that's totally different for him. That'd be completely different
It would be interesting.
than his like heartfelt I must survive stuff.
I want to see another. What movies are coming out? Like what big movies are being worked on is from the big directors. What I want to see is I want to see another Michael Mann movie.
Yeah, I don't
think
know if
he's
we're
got some
I don't know
stuff.
if we're at the 10-year mark yet. He usually comes out with one every 10
man.
years. Or
Yeah.
at least a good one every 10 years. He might come up with a movie between then, but it seems to be the 10-year mark is his top movie.
He had yeah,
Know
no.
any movies?
What was that? There was the
Yeah.
hacking movie didn't
trying
do
to
so
think of his
well.
name.
What was that?
But he's actually re-editing. He's going to re-release the movie about hacking. Anyway, it didn't do fare so well in the theaters.
What's his name? Robert Pattinson.
And you don't know it because that's no
He's
one
in
knows it.
Batman?
I forget. We could look it up.
Marvel.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is true.
That movie looks very dark, and I
Yes.
love how it looks.
I mean, I don't know. He won't be able to sparkle, so.
Yeah,
Sparkle.
yeah. Isn't
Sparkly
it's crazy. The
vampire.
thing about
Twilight.
Batman, the thing about Batman movies, like historically, they'll announce the cast, and people are like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like when they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker, people were all up in arms, like, "What the fuck? This is gonna be dumb." And
I disagreed entirely, but-
No, everybody I talked to was like, "This is gonna suck." Heath Ledger, freaking 10 Things I Hate About You, gonna be the Joker. It's like, and he destroyed that role.
He's my favorite Joker.
Yeah, he legitimately scared me. I was at the
Yeah.
theater, like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, he's amazing. And I'm looking at what they're doing with Robert Pattinson, what they were able to do to make a preview. I'm like, this looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm really
I've
looking
actually never
forward to that.
seen Robert Pattinson in anything other than Twilight, so I feel not very able to make a judgment on him in another movie. But
He was
I didn't
Cedric
like
Diggory in
Twilight,
Harry Potter.
so
He's actually in a really good film, oddly a Cronenberg film, but he plays a rich guy. He's just basically rides around in his limo all day. And yeah, he has an interaction. I forget who he interacts with. It's kind of like an indie kind of talky movie. There's a little bit of Cronenberg-ness in there. He has to throw in a little bit of gross Cronenberg-ness. But it's actually a really good film and a really really different than what you'd expect to see from Robert Pattinson. Because I think Robert Pattinson came on the scene, he did Twilight, and everybody's like, this is all this guy can do. And that might have been true for the female actress, which seems to be the case. I don't remember her name.
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, thank you. And that seems to be the case. She seems to be giving wooden performances through her career. This is not just me saying it.
No.
I watch other things, and they say it as well. But Robert Pattinson actually does appear to have some range and some talent. So I'm looking. I bet the Batman film will be good as well.
I find, and at risk of starting something that might get Ken upset, but I find that in Batman movies, I always like the villains much better than Batman, and I actually don't find Batman all that interesting.
Well, that's like DC's charm that they really need to capitalize on. The thing that DC has over Marvel is their villains. So,
yeah.
And I agree. But at the same time, Batman is, and probably always will be, my all-time favorite superhero because he's just a man in a bat suit. Yeah.
I mean, you love Batman, but what I'm saying is that I just love the Joker. So if I could have Robert Pattinson suddenly be amazing and I love him as Batman, I mean, that would change my view on a whole character and a whole, like, huge dynasty. So
yeah.
Would it change your worldview?
It would change my worldview. I mean, it would change my relationship.
Do you secretly you yearn to love Batman, but you just haven't been able to do it yet.
It's his alter ego. I mean, his niece calls him Batman. She calls me Batgirl, so I really have to live up to this and get a little bit more close to the character. So hopefully Robert Pattinson can help me out.
Hopefully. And
do you think Scorsese is done? Is that it after the one on Netflix there with De Niro, Pesci there, and Pacino that he did?
Did he say
Irishman?
Did he say that was his last movie?
I don't know. He's getting up there in age.
I don't think he'll stop until he's dead.
I feel like movie creators like that, like him, they'll go until they die.
Yeah, I think he'll try to squeeze one more.
I don't believe. I mean, Quentin Tarantino has always said, "Well, that's it," or maybe I got one. Like, forget it. He'll just continue on. It's like Jay-Z. Yeah. It's like, that's my last album, and then he releases like 3 more.
Part of it's about the hype, right? I mean, like Quentin Tarantino, he keeps saying this is the last one. People come because it's the last one, and then he says, "Oh no, just kidding."
And now there's the Tarantino verse, like the movies within movies and stuff like that. It's crazy.
I mean, I really like his movies.
I do too.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction is a great movie. It's a really great movie, especially for one of director's first.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
So I don't know what is, there's no movie that I know of that I'm like looking forward to see that's not, released.
There was 4 big ones people were talking about being delayed because of COVID. Batman was one of them. I feel like James Bond was another. And there's 2 more that I can't think of.
Who's James Bond now?
He is still Daniel Craig as far as I know.
Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
Black Widow keeps getting pushed back.
Black Widow, yes.
Yeah.
Black Widow. I feel like there may be another superhero one among those, but yes, so. Black Widow was the third. Those are the ones that people are most excited about. If I may do a shameless plug, I am excited about Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds because I have a very minor role in there.
Nice.
You didn't tell me about this.
I did. I shared it.
Where was that filmed?
It was filmed here.
Really?
It was filmed here.
I didn't know that was filmed here.
Yeah. I filmed it. Was it this year?
So wait a minute. What's your role in it?
I played gamer number 1. I'm just some guy. I comment. I say some lines. Thankfully, I guess. Luckily.
Oh, that puts your name in the credits, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of. Thank you. I'm excited about it.
Do we know when it's going to be released?
Currently, it was supposed to come out before COVID, obviously. But it is now being pushed to December, so we can look for it at that time, unless something else happens.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah,
That's
see.
awesome.
We'll see. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, congratulations.
I think it'll be a good film too. It looks like a Ready Player One type movie.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be fun, and yeah, I mentioned it because I'm in it. So
Gamer 1.
gamer number
Gamer
one. That's me.
That's
That's
awesome.
me.
That's great.
Yeah. So that is what I'm looking forward to because I did enjoy Player One number one.
I like
as
Ryan
well.
Reynolds too.
Ryan
He's
Reynolds.
a good.
is
Oh
a-
my God,
is a
yeah.
great,
Good actor.
Dude, how does that guy have so much energy, though? I mean, how
Funny
old is
bastard.
Ryan Reynolds? Every time you see him, he's just like,
He's got to
Just-
be the wittiest guy in Hollywood.
yeah, but
Yeah.
how old?
I don't know.
is
Let's
this guy?
look it up. How
Look
old
him
is
up.
Ryan
How
Reynolds?
old is Ryan Reynolds?
And he's the one that brought. Well, I mean, sure, it was the whole team, but his commercial. I forget for what was the one who brought Rick Moranis out of
Yeah.
retirement.
And then he
Yeah.
gets punched.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
He got
I don't.
punched.
I didn't see that story. What happened?
He is
I- he just
43
as
years
far-
old.
I didn't read it either, but
43.
wow,
Oh,
he looks
shit.
good.
Yes, he does look good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous that
Ryan Reynolds
and
brings Rick Moranis out of retirement, and the
Yeah.
man gets assaulted in the
of all
street.
people too to get punched in the face. It's Rick Moranis. Like what? Like it's so random, but yeah, I don't know anything more than that. Just
Yeah.
they
'Cause,
have.
the
they
only
have-
reason I know of it is Bill Burr did the monologue on SNL,
and he mentioned it.
and he mentioned it.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, I didn't even know the
Yeah.
story. So,
That was a-
but I saw the monologue.
That was a pretty. He took some risks with that monologue
Yeah.
for sure. There was some risky Bill Burr moments. Classic Bill Burr.
Classic.
I
Bill
love
Burr.
Bill Burr.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a good comedian.
He's a Bostonian.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's from Massachusetts. Yeah.
That's why I like him.
Why? It's so many comedians come from Massachusetts.
It's
I don't
true.
know
They do. You got,
what is going on.
You
there.
got Joe Rogan as well, and you got the one who should not be named, Louis C.K.
Oh yeah, and then you have Jay Leno.
Oh, Jay Leno comes
who's
from
a
here
comedian.
too? Look, nice.
There's a whole.
Amy Schumer? No. She's probably-
Maybe.
You
I'm
got a
not
lot
sure
of
about that
SNL
one.
people from Massachusetts as well.
Oh, what's that spastic dude? Everybody loved him for like 5 minutes.
What's best?
Uh,
SNL?
Curious now.
no, what's his name? He was
David
in.
Spade?
No.
When you say spastic dude, I immediately think Bobcat Goldthwait.
He's great. No, Dane Cook. That's what
Oh,
I'm
did he come
from Boston?
He's from Massachusetts.
Yes, everyone loved him for a minute is accurate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was funny at the beginning.
He was, but then it's like once you saw him once, you're like, all right, what else you got? And he didn't. Like, he couldn't build on
He
it.
didn't have another thing.
But then he started getting into movies, and his movies weren't that good.
Yeah, I think it just depends. I was gonna say I thought that about Gaffigan, Jim Gaffigan, but you know, in watching his comedy more recently, I think he's actually expanded quite a bit.
Hot Pocket.
Right? Exactly. That's what he's known for.
Dennis Leary,
Yeah.
the Boston guy,
But he,
but he
you
kind
told
of
me
ripped,
he
kind of
stole
ripped off
everything.
Bill Hicks's material a little bit.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
But he's still a great actor. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
good for him on the acting side. But yeah, that kind of sucks.
Who's
that
your
he's still
favorite
good.
comedian?
Do you have a favorite comedian?
George Carlin, hands down,
George Carlin,
number one.
okay.
Nobody more modern. I mean, not that Carlin's not good. I'm 100%. He's great.
Contemporary and dead. How about that?
Contemporary and dead. How does that work?
What if he's
got-
still alive?
Recently
got-
dead comedians that we got.
Contemporary means living, so a living and a dead. You get two.
I don't know.
I have
You
mine
don't have a-
ready.
You don't have a living.
I mean, I like Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is really good. I would probably have to go with Bill Burr for living. Dead, I think hands down gonna be Mitch Hedberg. Like Mitch Hedberg, like I know it's kind of inside baseball, but like he had a great.
Yeah.
He maybe
Right.
maybe it's good that he's not good for him and for his family. But, like maybe his act wouldn't have continued to be good, but I think he had potential. I think
He
had a
was
lot
the
of
one-liner
potential.
king, is basically what
Huh?
it was. He was the one-liner king.
One-liner
Yeah.
king.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, there is a one-liner king that I do like that is still alive. Jay London. He was on. I was gonna say Dancing with the
Oh,
Stars.
Stephen Wright.
Oh, Stephen Wright. You're right.
Another
Stephen Wright.
Massachusetts
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah.
I think,
are
I
my-
think for a dead comedian, I would probably have to say Sam Kinison.
Interesting.
He's just like off the wall, like.
Yeah.
And who's your
No,
living?
absolutely.
I'm having a hard time because I like so many of them. Torn between Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart.
Ooh, good ones.
Yeah.
I go
Those
with
are
Dave
good
over
ones.
the two, but I like both.
Yeah.
My dad is definitely
Dead comic.
Dead comic.
my dead comic
Oh,
that I
man.
love very much is Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
And
How
like
would we
definitely my
forget?
top of all time, above anybody else. But then my living comic that I love, who actually Ken introduced me to, is Jim Jeffries, because
Oh
he's
yes.
Oh,
so
Jim Jeffries
so
is
funny.
hilarious.
Like I laugh so hard, no matter what he says, I laugh. So
No, that is
Yes.
actually a good. I probably should have said that.
he's
Two,
like
uh,
a guaranteed to make me happy.
Two other honorable mentions I would have to say are
Collier.
Wanda Sykes and
Yes.
Bert Kreischer.
Wanda Sykes, the Not Normal on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it because
Oh,
it is so funny.
is
I
hilarious.
like almost peed myself. It was so
She
funny.
opens it up. She's like, "If you vote for Trump and then you come to my show, you fucked up again."
That was a very impressive voice, dude. Like that was good.
He's good with voices. You know,
Yeah.
actually, I will just say, because we're talking about nonsense, Ken is really, like, very good at voices sometimes, and he actually started his whole, that should have been in your interview, but he started his whole interest in film and, like, all
I
the
used
stuff
to
you
do
guys do as
voices,
as
yeah.
voice actor.
Because Jim Carrey was an impersonator, and so I became an impersonator.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I went up on stage and talent shows. They're doing like cartoon voices and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
he still does them sometimes.
Sometimes.
Some of them really freak me out. Like he does the witch from Snow White, and oh my god, I actually told him to stop because
Yeah.
it's so scary.
When
But-
when I was a kid, I was able to do so many voices, but then puberty hit, and it's just like your voice changes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't do so many of them anymore, so now I don't know what I'm gonna do.
But you're quite good at it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bert Kreischer and Wanda Sykes, two other great comedians.
Bert Kreischer's funny too. I like how he talks about his daughters a lot.
Yeah, his daughters are a part of his act all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Hear that train
George
go by.
Carlin's the king, though. He's got
George
be.
Carlin is definitely, I think he's my second favorite dead comic.
No, George Carlin, any comedian. I think that's why Dave Chappelle. It would be. I agree. I'm in agreement in preference because I prefer the comedians that actually talk about issues in addition to comedy.
All right.
Mm.
I think that's a great balance to achieve and doesn't like. There's nothing wrong with comedians that don't. Jim Gaffigan being an example. I don't know about more recently, but as one who doesn't talk about politics or anything
Yeah.
social or difficult, really.
I think it's hard to avoid it too as a topic now. I mean,
That's true.
a lot of
What-
people who didn't.
What's
now
this other
do.
guy? Like Macaulay or Magali or something
Oh
with
yeah, John.
John
Mulaney.
Mulaney.
Mulaney?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's funny.
Yeah.
I think he's funny too.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know. I like the people who have somewhat of a personality or like a shtick to them, but like also talk about real stuff,
Yeah.
like you're saying. That's why I like Jim Jeffries, because he has his like personality, his kind of like negative attitude, but he's also like very like relevant
His
and
his
current.
gun control rant
His gun
Yeah.
control rant is
is
wonderful.
famous. It's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
I love that because like
Right.
you know like
Oh, I'll fix your wagon.
it's just so true. It's so great. Yeah.
so Raj, how long have you been? You were in LA, and then how long have you been here in Massachusetts?
It's been 2 years. 2018 June is when I got here.
What's it been like? You know, because you were involved in film and production in LA, and then you came here to Massachusetts. What was that transition like?
See, it was an interesting transition because when I came here, I was pretty sure I was finished with production. I was disillusioned and sad, and I just didn't want to do it anymore because it just seemed like you're chasing a moving target, and you just keep going and you keep auditioning and you never hear back, so you don't know if you did good or bad. You're just like I just keep doing it, and you don't know. There's no signs. There's no gold. There's no signposts that say, "Hey, you're on your way." It's kind of. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what it's kind of. I was gonna think like it's kind of you wake up one morning and now you're being called for jobs, but I don't know if that's the case. Honestly, I don't know what the next stage of success, as it were, is. So to get back to your question, it was almost like when I came here, it was like, okay, no more film.
can't use
I'm
the
done with
microphone.
film. And then after, I don't know, a couple months, maybe a year or so, I was like, this is wrong. I should be doing film. That's what I want to be doing.
Right.
And then it was the struggle of trying to find people, trying to find a group. Until I came here, shameless plug, but until I came to the Video Creators Lounge, I didn't have a good connection with anyone who did production. Like in LA, like for better or worse, you can throw a rock and you'll find somebody to shoot a sketch with you, or somebody to do music, or somebody who wants to do something creative. And out here, you don't see that. Or at least you have to go find it much more specifically.
Yeah, rather than throw a rock, you have to pick up a rock.
Yeah, right. You have to like strategically plan where the rock is going to go. It's like it doesn't. It's not as simple. Is the simple way of putting that. And until again.
Yeah, but I don't feel like we're doing a hell of a lot for you, except for being part of the production and doing,
But it's the support. Like I've never and this is specifically to you. You are all very supportive, but you in specific terms are one of the most supportive people I've come across. And I'm not doing this to blow smoke up your ass. You
thank
you. You're interested. You're as far as you just start showing people my work when they come here. Like I know you're putting people at ease, but the support you show.
Well, your work is great. It's fun.
No,
I love it.
I appreciate that, but that's not something I'm used to in terms of I'm usually the one tooting my own horn just because there's not a lot of tutors out there. You're trying to gain people to be on your journey with you, and I felt like you just jumped on that train right away, and you wanted to be part of it and part of Team Raj, and I appreciate that. To say one more thing, you are the biggest team player of anyone I've met. Anyone, whatever they're doing, you jump on board.
Feel
with
the same way about you and all of you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
No, I mean so.
Thank
yeah.
you. No, thank you.
There's so much.
Happy birthday. Just kidding.
Wait, who's birthday?
I'm joking.
It's a different environment. But to go back to your question, it's a different environment here. I think ideally, if a collective, a greater collective could be formed, and more creatives could just, I don't know, maybe we make a village somewhere. We make a city. It's like Film City.
Commune.
And everybody does film stuff.
Yes,
that's
come
what,
to our commune.
Put us on our own island.
That's what I miss from LA mostly, because
Let's start a cult.
Yeah, I could.
You can be our leader.
I was gonna say leader. I didn't want to give myself that role, so I'm glad you said it.
Yes, I appoint you, sire.
It's just because you got the hair.
It is the hair.
He has amazing hair. You can't tell, but it's true.
Yeah, it's in a ponytail right now, but his locks are flowing.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Fabio.
So I'm the one thing I miss most about LA is the ease of finding creatives to work with you.
Community.
And the passion. The community, exactly. That's been a little harder to cultivate out here, but what I have cultivated, especially in this room and among the people that aren't here today, I'm very happy.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I guess I just don't understand. It's not just the film industry, but it's also the music industry as well. I mean, someone just released a mini documentary about kind of hip hop and just the music industry in Massachusetts, and talking about why. I mean, Massachusetts is a big city, but just it doesn't get the recognition that other cities have had, or even the state of Massachusetts. And it is kind of a little disconcerting that they were going to do that Hollywood East thing in Plymouth, like, I don't know, it's like 5 years ago, and that, you know, they had all these big plans.
There
to
is a group, but
open
there's
that
no. I don't think there's any central hub for it. But there's a Hollywood East actors group.
I just wanted to say, Raj, that I really agree with you that it's harder here to kind of create a community, and even though I am somewhat now because of you guys, like in in the film community in like a kind of an outlier way, but even in the art community and just art communities in general, music, art, film, I find it's actually really hard in this area to find people you kind of relate to or whatever, and you do have to try that much harder, like to get those people. And I'm also really glad that we all found each other. But I think that maybe like, I don't know, maybe that like that's a first step. Like we are a community, or a small community, but we can expand and we can grow. We can have, before COVID, we were doing events where we actually did reach out to other people in the community. And I think that it's like worth building upon, not just like, okay, now we're our own little unit, but I think the more we can reach out and grow. And just in Boston, people are closed off. Like it's like a thing that people in Massachusetts, it's kind of cool to be closed off. And I think that as much as we can reach out and actually expand the community ourselves, that's good. And I'm glad we found each other as a starting point.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for kind words as well. I mean, we've been doing the best we can with COVID. We've been having the musicians here, which has been cool. Who knew that we could do this in this kind of confined space? I didn't think it was possible. We had, what was it, last week? We had a bass player, a drummer, a guitar player, and a vocalist.
And a singer, yeah.
We transformed this space that we're in right now.
We're taking the late night model, late night model of doing stuff at home during this time, and shockingly, you can do a lot in a small space.
Right. And the reception is great. I mean, I feel like, I have some friends who are musicians, and it really actually is interesting how all this stuff being like converted to digital or being online, live videos, live streaming, like has really changed. And for some people, it actually has really benefited them in a way during COVID. I have a few friends that this is actually really, in a strange way, kind of helped because they're more able to access people who wouldn't normally watch a hour-long Facebook video or whatever. So I think like it's been really nice to be a part of this and like capitalize on still having the arts be available and creative stuff happening during this time. Because I don't know, I definitely am someone who probably before COVID wouldn't have like wanted to sit down and watch like a bunch of people like perform. I mean, I might have, but I definitely watch it now more than I'm like home more. So.
Quarantine karaoke? You were a huge fan of that.
I was a huge fan of that until it got crazy. I don't know, it got
you
really
were
bad.
digging into my knee.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Dude, your machines over there are making some scary noises.
I have an ice maker that.
We're being attacked.
I'm afraid some kind of like refrigerator demon's gonna come out and attack me.
It's gonna be like that movie there with the machines.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. That, have you seen that?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
I think the whole soundtrack of that movie was AC/DC. And it was hysterical. It's worth a watch. It's hysterical. The machines like grow consciousness and like they try to like take over humans.
All electrical machines and motorized vehicles,
but even like
come
stationary
to life
machines
and murder humans.
Right.
Yeah. There's a scene where a soda machine launches sodas and beams this kid in the head and kills him.
Like bullets, like the sodas are coming out. Oh, it's the worst part of
It sounds awful.
That one
phenomenal.
Mack truck that's got the Green Goblin.
Is it actually good or is it really bad?
What's the difference?
80s cheese.
Oh, okay.
It's so bad. It's
is
good.
it meant to be bad? Or is it like so bad it's good kind of? Okay.
It's along the lines of movies like Tremors and things like that.
I haven't seen that either.
God,
Oh,
it's
jeez.
just,
I don't think I've really
it's
seen
priceless.
many 80s horror movies actually.
It's priceless. You gotta make that part of your list. Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Wait, you're younger than I. How do you remember? I mean that. How do you know that movie?
I've seen it.
Like
saw it
how
on
though?
TV.
Like on TV?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was on TV.
That's deep cut. Deep cut.
Great movie.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, what's a deep cut movie that film that people here should watch?
Oh God, it depends. It depends on what like vibe, because like one of my favorite films is not. You shouldn't watch it for feel good. You probably shouldn't watch it, but like it's a good film. It's Love Liza. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman, written by his brother Gordy Hoffman.
Yeah.
Directed by Todd Luiso, I believe. It is about his wife has just committed suicide and left him a note, which he struggles for the entire length of the film to try to read, about his grief with and coping with that.
Now wait a minute. Was this because there's like two movies that he made around that time?
Okay.
One of them involved him huffing.
Yes, this is the huffing gas.
Yes!
movie. Yeah, with,
Oh, yeah, I
with,
saw
with
that.
Kathy Bates. Yeah.
Yes, that's great movie.
It's a really great performance. Really, really. I mean, I connect with it on emotionally as well.
Terrific.
But yes, that is a deeper cut that I don't think many people are familiar with.
Yeah. All right, Brooke, what you got? Obscure movie.
Obscure movie?
All right, you think about it, Ken. What do you got?
Adventures in Babysitting.
Adventures in
one I've heard of, but I have not seen.
Elizabeth Shue.
I forget it. It's just the first movie that came to my head. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. It's a girl. She's babysitting a couple of kids, and
She has some adventures.
No, her best friend calls her. She's stranded in the city.
Yeah, yes.
And so she's got to take the kids and go to try to help her friend, and
Nice.
they get into some shenanigans. Yeah.
What you got? What you got?
I don't know if I know any rare movies
Rare
that you
movies,
guys
yeah.
are talking
We
about.
watched.
Oh,
I mean, I
man,
know a
could
movie that's
launch-
not as popular now, but it's pretty popular in the course of things. I like Heathers.
Heather.
I made-
Heather's is, I
mean-
would say it's
A little
fairly
Shannon, the little dark comedy, black
Yeah,
comedy.
I really love Winona Ryder. And I made Ken watch that with me, and he
I
liked
liked it.
He liked it.
Good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Good 80s movie. Shannon Doherty and Winona and
Christian Slater.
I thought Christian Slater was so hot in that movie. I definitely wanted a Christian Slater boyfriend. Yeah, but then I got Ken, which is so much better.
I want to
Yeah.
come back to Winona Ryder, but what's your deep cut?
No. I made you guys watch Buffalo '66. Or you had already seen.
I'd
it.
already seen Buffalo.
Yeah.
66.
I mean, I don't know if I like that. I just
Spanning
so
time.
different, so ridiculously different that it was
Just spanning time.
very interesting.
What do you got with Winona Ryder?
Oh no, I don't. There's nothing specific. Well, I was just when we said it. How many of us here has seen The Crucible?
Love that
I've
movie.
seen it.
Right. Have you seen The Crucible?
Bits and pieces.
Okay.
We
I
were
mean, The
actually-
Crucible. Speaking of The Crucible,
We were actually just talking about that movie the other day
Yes.
because we went to the Peabody Essex Museum.
Oh yeah.
And they had the
And-
exhibit on the Salem witch trials.
if you get a chance to go to the Peabody Essex Museum, I wouldn't say go if you're only going to see this because the exhibit is
It's very small.
very small. It's like one large room. So only go if you're also interested in art and want to see the art. But however, while you're there, go to see the Witch Trials exhibit at PEM because it was so interesting. And like they had actual like documents that were handwritten in ink of the records for like the prison, for the prison records for the like inmates that they had who were witches, and on the list is like John Proctor and like all these very famous people you've heard of being, basically being killed.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. They had like old big wooden panels from the actual jail from the 1600s.
Wall planks that women were chained to.
Yeah, wall planks, and they had just so many handwritten letters, and it was very interesting. It was actually too much for me to be in there because of the subject
Yeah,
matter,
she
and
got
we left.
overwhelmed, I believe.
We left fairly quickly. But our friend Carlos actually did take pictures of each letter. So at some point, I'm probably going to ask him to share those with me because it'd be interesting to read them in more detail. But it was cool.
Just some uplifting late night read.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fascinating
some
because
feel good.
the one I did read, it actually was super interesting because they actually wrote a conversation out.
Mm-hmm.
So they were interrogating a witch, and they asked her, like, you know, why are you here? Like, how long have you lived in Salem? And it was his answer, his question, and then her answer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually like a conversation written out. So it was actually pretty interesting. Kind of like playing it in your head. Anyway, I thought it was fascinating, but it was only one room, so
Yeah.
I don't think I would have made the trip if I wasn't already interested in the rest of the museum. But cool if you live nearby and stuff. Yeah.
I think there's kind of I don't even know if this is relevant, but I think there's kind of an idea that the witch trials are not as will not take you as emotionally because, like, oh, witches and oh, we did this and that. It seems so like goofy and quirky. Unlike, you know, I went to the Oklahoma Bombing Museum, and that obviously very, very gripping as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to the bombing museum, you're like, oh, I know what this is. You go to a witch trial museum, you're like, oh, this is, you know, it's witches and this and that. I think you lose that context of what they really were.
I mean, it was genocide.
Right.
I mean,
In a sense, yeah.
like it is genocide. Not as big as the Holocaust or something like that, but it is genocide. I mean, they killed like hundreds of people.
Innocent people.
And innocent people that did nothing. I mean, nothing at all, actually. They just decided this person we don't like, and
It's like,
they're
this
a witch.
person says you're a witch. Confess. I don't want to confess because I didn't do it. Hang her!
So
Yeah, it's like the
I
skit
think-
in the Monty Python there. Remember what was it? It was like if she
weighs the same as a duck, she's made of wood, and therefore a witch.
But I think that's what hit me when I was there. Why it like affected me so much is that like I really didn't, like you said, like I kind of thought of it as like, oh, witches in Salem and whatever, but it really wasn't that. Like when you read the history of it and when you read those letters and when you saw the wooden planks and how thick they were, I mean, it was really like actually very impactful. And I'm really glad I went, but
Yeah. I think The Crucible is actually a very powerful movie and a good like historical telling of what happened.
I watched it in
It's a
school.
novel, right?
It is a
It's
novel or a short story or
I feel
something.
like I read something years ago.
Yeah.
That is actually why I brought it up, though, because I do think it, as old and kind of, it has some quirkiness because it is old. It is a really good movie, and is, I doubt it's his first film, but it's one of Daniel Day-Lewis's early performances. He's John Proctor.
Was he?
He's John Proctor?
He's John Proctor, yeah.
No, he did phenomenal in that movie. I didn't know that was
Was
him.
he was it meta? Is it or
What do you mean?
No, he's always in character.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not at that point in his career. It would be hard to say. I guess it would depend on how you know, if it was before or after
Method acting.
Method acting.
If it was
Jesus.
you know, because I think My Left Foot was probably his, like, I'm gonna go deep because and I haven't seen that movie, but I've seen clips and just the performance being asked, I think, of the character, it would you could see why Daniel Day-Lewis would give it everything.
Right.
But even that early, like to answer the method acting, I don't know if he lived the Crucible, but it is a really powerful performance, and Winona Ryder, she's a kid in that movie, but she does well as well, and it is a very good telling. I don't know, historically accurate, but a good telling of that period.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Winona, is it Winona? I usually say Winona.
No, I say Winona, but I think it's Winona.
I think
I say it wrong.
So she was in the was it the Netflix thing too?
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
So is that
she
done
was.
or is that coming back or what's going on?
I
with
don't
Stranger
know.
I
Things?
don't
I
know.
feel like they're coming back, but I don't.
I have
know.
2 seasons that I need to watch.
I feel like my favorite movie she's in though is Girl Interrupted. I don't know if you've seen that, but she was really good in that. Worth seeing.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. of
She's
course,
young in
classic.
Beetlejuice, but
Yeah, she is young.
Oh, I keep on hitting the microphone. I hope it's not
Girl
like
Interrupted
blowing
has
people's ears.
what's her face? Angelina Jolie too.
Yeah. And a couple other people too. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I somewhat recall that movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. And then Raj's favorite, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes, my favorite.
What?
Favorite
Why?
movie.
So why is that your favorite?
Is it
I
action?
just love.
Oh.
You just can't get enough of it.
Seattle, and I love restlessness. So, ergo, Sleepless in
Yeah.
Seattle.
Seattle actually is a fun place to be.
I've never been.
Yeah,
Is it a
I've
perfect
been there a
portrait of
couple
your
times.
insomnia?
Yes. No. Wait, we watched that together, didn't we, or no? What was that Ben Affleck and what's her name movie that we watched together here? It was Kevin James. Oh no, that's I was gonna say Brockovich, but no, it's not Aaron Brockovich. It's
With Ben Affleck.
This is
Ben
interesting.
Affleck.
What? Chasing Amy?
Chasing Amy. Thank you.
Chasing Amy.
When you said Sleepless in Seattle, I immediately thought Chasing Amy. So what is Sleepless in Seattle?
No, it's
actually?
it's a
Meg Ryan and Tom
rom-com.
Hanks.
Meg Ryan- oh,
It's a rom com.
You should have just said. You should have said.
Have you seen it?
Well, what would be the
Sleepless in
go-to?
Seattle?
If
What's the one
well,
you haven't
if you
seen?
want the real answer go-to rom-com
The one we
that I like is Hitch. I think Will Smith and Kevin James
we
do a
just
good
watched
job
with-
in that movie.
Yeah.
If you want a joke
Billy
answer
Crystal.
in that vein, it would be You Got Mail.
Oh, it was Princess.
Well,
Bride.
you know, it's funny because
I was thinking of different. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, and Harry
Notting
Met
Hill
Sally.
is another chick flick, but
Sure.
like rom com. And I pointed out because there's actually one cool scene in that movie that they filmed, and I got so much flack for even mentioning. I got so much flack for even mentioning
Wait,
the
which
fact that
movie
I
is it?
saw a scene from that movie. But in the middle of that movie is like a phenomenal scene where the character. That's the only reason I like watched it. Promise. All right. Maybe maybe I watched it alone by myself. But no.
Wait,
Anyway,
what movie is this?
Notting Hill.
Oh, okay.
But no, there's a cool scene in the movie.
I hate her, Julia, whatever.
She's killing me.
Julia
You're
Roberts?
killing
Sorry,
me.
go ahead.
You're killing me.
There's famous scene.
So there's a great scene in the middle of that, or I think it's in the middle. I don't know because I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't.
Sure.
Promise.
Got it.
But it's somewhere in the movie where the main character is kind of like walking down a street, and a year passes in time.
That's
So
cool.
he's kind of like walking, and I think it's like winter, or no, it's like spring or something. And then he goes on, and he just like casually puts on the coat, and everything around him starts like turning in like to the snow on the ground. Like there was fall, the leaves are falling, and there's snow on the ground, and then it's like spring again, and then summer, and it does this whole kind of like a Spike Jones, like a Spike Jones video.
Yeah.
Music video, and so it was just really cool how they did that. It's worth just seeing that scene, of course.
Notting Hill.
Not the
Cool.
don't watch the whole movie. Just
Maybe you
watch
can find
the
it on YouTube. Maybe you can find that scene on
Maybe.
YouTube.
Maybe I have a couple copies you could
Maybe.
borrow. but it's a great you would see the
Appreciate-
scene
yeah.
and you would appreciate it from a film perspective.
Those when they do things like that, any time transitions, any kind of like cool effects like that, usually is very very attractive. Do you Ken? Do you have a scene like that?
Standout scenes,
that-
standout
yeah.
scenes.
Do you have one that comes to mind?
Not really. Honestly, it's getting to be kind of late, so my mind's kind of like.
Sure. No, that's true. We have,
But,
we have been sitting here for at least an hour. I think.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I do actually appreciate when they go above and beyond in the actual filmmaking process, make things like that happen. Like I'm a big fan of extended one takes and things like that. I mean, you're asking me about an expression of time passing, and really the only one I can think of is The Lion King.
What's that?
Animation when he gets older.
when he's walking across the
Oh
log. when he
yeah,
gets
that is a
older.
great example actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. And you were talking about extended, long takes. immediately, and there's tons of examples, but immediately what comes to mind is Boogie Nights, the opening of Boogie Nights,
Yeah.
which is a great extended
Everyone
opening
always
scene.
talks about the Goodfellas, the Copacabana scene in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
But Boogie Night, that shot,
opening
the
of Boogie
opening
Nights.
of Boogie Nights
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
Insane.
Crazy.
Insane.
Starts off, this shot starts off
On a crane.
on a crane way above a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
The crane swoops down.
Don't forget, it also turns 90 degrees.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it swoops down. The camera operator gets like seamlessly
Walks off
the. You don't even. I mean, there's nothing.
You don't see anything,
You
no?
don't see anything. Walks into the club for like the exterior shots, but then in the club introduces all the characters. Goes around. There's a dance scene. There's extras. Like I don't know how many times they did that shot, but the amount of coordination that had to go through for that, unreal. And there's another extended shot in that movie as well, but the opening is just amazing.
There are breakdowns of that scene. I think it's well worth watching the side by side of what you're seeing on camera and what's happening with.
Oh,
the
do they have
camera.
like a behind the scenes shot of that?
Not a behind the
Taken-
scenes shot, but someone drew like a diagram. Like you can see what they're looking at. And they show like, oh, the camera's moving this way now, and like, yeah, they have a side by side of here's what's on camera, and here's the diagram of the overhead.
Nice. Yeah, because it spun around. The guy spun around a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's insane. One takes are always pretty much insane.
And then I just read recently, and we'll wrap it up in a minute.
Absolutely,
here,
yeah.
But I just read recently that Copacabana scene in the in Goodfellas that wasn't the original plan. That the owner wouldn't let him go through the front door for some reason, so they had to go through the back door. And then Scorsese was like, "Well, all right, let's do a long shot or something like that to make it." It was actually supposed to be introducing Karen, Two-Eye Rossi, Karen. Was like trying to introduce Karen into his world, to Ray Liotta's character's world, and that was kind of like her introduction into that world. But again, it wasn't necessarily planned originally. They were going to go walk through the front door, or not even show the door. I don't know, but it just kind of happened.
I didn't notice before, but Brooke and I are actually rewatching the show Scrubs.
Oh, nice.
And that show is full of one takes.
Surprisingly, yeah.
I'm watching
kidding.
it. I'm like me and my buddy Caesar, we watched that entire series, just like hanging out watching it. And now she and I are watching it, and I'm like looking at it more from a filmmaker perspective this time. And I'm like, every single episode, it's just the camera follows and then moves on and follows and moves on. It's it's crazy.
Because it's set in a hospital, so they go down like the hallway and they'll go into the room.
No
and like
cut?
they'll have like no cut.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's there are cuts in it, but there's a lot of one takes.
Like the majority of episodes starts off with the main character doing his inner monologue, so it's just him narrating what's going on while he's walking through, and it follows him. And then there's something to motivate the camera to follow something else, and then something in time just bring the camera to follow something
interesting.
else.
He'll like bring
and
in
then
another
they'll walk into a
character.
patient's room, and then they'll cut.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's
He'll bring
really
another
cool.
character, and the character is like dropping off papers, so follow her, and then I'll go back to him, and I'll go into the room. Yeah, it's very cool actually.
What did you think of Birdman?
I love that.
I love that movie too. Yeah.
This is
Such a
Bird-
great movie.
Yeah, it was good, but it was kind of interesting though. I mean, the whole movie was supposed to appear as if it was one take, and of course in reality it wasn't. But like, what is the utility? I mean, it's a great movie. I'm with you, and I'm a big fan of Ed Norton as well. But like, what is the utility of appearing? Does it take away its kind of luster to know that, of course, the whole movie wasn't done in one take, but like...
No, it's just because it's supposed to take on the feeling of a play.
Yeah.
Because that's what the whole movie is about, is them putting on a play.
It was a play. Birdman was a play before it was a movie.
Yeah.
I think there's also a technical. Why is the only word I can think of orgasm? It's a technical. I think there's a technical joy in in achieving this effect where movies are like, nah, we can just cut. We're in a new scene. But to think about, oh, let's go behind the character's head and then transition to a new scene. Like, to think about that at every scene transition,
Yeah.
I think is impressive. To kind of go in that same vein of, is it worth it to have a movie that's all one take? The only movie I can think of that's all one take, it's not in English, is Russian Ark.
Is it really legit one
The
take?
whole movie is one take.
Wait,
The
how
whole
long is this movie?
2...
No, come on.
No, it's long.
2 what? Are you
Maybe it's
about
not
to say
2.
hours?
Of
2
course-
minutes?
Of course I'm going to say hours. It's some...
It's over 2 hours?
It might be just 1 hour, but still, the
Oh,
fact that it's
yeah.
one take for this long, it's not on IMDb. But the point is, you can watch that film, you won't understand it unless you understand Russian, which I don't either.
Subtitles?
But not in the version I found. It's 2002, so it's not an
wait, you
easy
watched,
film
hold
to
on.
find.
This is actually more interesting
Oh,
to
how
me
so?
then. So you watched a full movie without subtitles in a different language that you didn't understand?
Well, I may have fast forwarded it at points, but yes, it is essentially a. Let's just say it's 90 minutes. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The length doesn't super
Well, whatever,
matter.
yeah.
But it's a.
How old is it?
2002. So it's almost.
So is it
it's
digital
almost,
or film? Did they
might-
do film?
Might be film. I couldn't tell you about
Yeah.
the technicals. Really, I happened to find a copy of it. And sat and watched it, and I'm just like, wow. And then I didn't really go any further into looking into it. But the fact that it was a single take for the entire movie is impressive.
That's
you're-
amazing.
And,
That is amazing.
And it goes through, what does it say? 200 years of encounters and historical figures of a French aristocrat.
Yeah.
Something about a scathing memoir about life in Russia.
Okay.
It's probably very inside baseball for
Yeah,
Russia,
yeah.
but
I think that's the fourth time
the
he's
fact
used
that
that
it's
reference.
the fact that it is one take, I can't think of another movie that is like fully one
Right,
take. And
right,
what's the point? Really, like it's
I guess
great.
it would have to
but
be digital. It couldn't. I
how,
don't know.
oh, to
Think
run that
about
long?
that.
Yeah, you're
It would
right.
probably have to be, right?
Yeah, you're probably right. That
Yeah.
it would probably have to be digital because they'd run out of film unless they had like a.
that would be.
I'm pretty
roll.
sure those big film reels were about an hour's worth of.
Yeah, I was
Really?
thinking maybe
Yeah.
just feed it from the back, like have a truck following behind. Like, yeah, I don't know, but
No, but yeah, they might be long enough to have. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Another cool movie that's kind of a technical marvel, one that you wouldn't really think of, is Baby Driver.
yes,
You saw that movie?
I did see that
movie
movie. I
is
love
just
that
it's
I haven't seen that. What
it's
else?
basically
Yeah, you should see it.
basically
It's good.
one big music video, because the kid, he's like a criminal getaway driver, and he's got tinnitus, so he's always listening to headphones. So they really incorporate the music in this film, and every single cut
very
is
good.
on
Yes,
beat
I've
with
heard
the
of this. I
music.
haven't seen it. So
And
it's worth seeing.
it's
Actually,
a great
really
movie.
cool thing. That's just a piece of trivia about that is that if you listen to it with earpods, instead of watching it like on a movie screen or whatever, when he takes one of his headphones off or when he removes his headphones, it acts as if you're him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like you can if he takes off his left earphone, if you take it off your headphone, like your headphone turns off.
Interesting.
So
That's cool.
it actually is very interactive the way they filmed it.
That's
great.
cool.
Good use of panning, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If he takes it off.
So
Yeah,
there's
'cause
times
it's
in it where he
following the
listens to
main
headphones,
character with
and he's the
headphones
main
on.
character. So there's times where like he some guy comes to his window or whatever, and he has to take out one of his earpods. If he takes it out and you're listening to it earpods, your left earpod goes blank.
I getcha. So it's actually you're hearing
what he's hearing.
but the audio from the TV or the speakers.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it kind of it enhances.
So how do you get that audio? Is it like the second audio production? Like
I actually don't know. My friend told me that he listened to it that way, and it was cool. I don't know how you
playing
get
the,
it. Maybe.
Dark Side of the Moon against Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really good film. Also similar, just in the fact that it's about driving, but the movie Drive is a great movie.
Yeah.
And
What's his name? Handsome. Everybody says
Ryan
handsome.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, yeah. He's also in A Place Beyond the Pines, which is a great movie as well.
I get those two movies confused now.
They're similar movies,
Very
but they're
similar
both
movies.
very, very good. Those are my two favorite, more recent movies. Although they're not even that recent at this point. I think they're like mid 2000s, but
Yeah.
they're good. They're really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what do you think? You think I think it's time to wrap it up?
I think I can wrap it up. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll start doing. If you want to do the
the
outro.
sign off. Well, you know, like I said, this was similar to conversations that we just normally have. Maybe a little bit different, but we figured, you know, we'd let other people, you know.
Let people in.
Let
Give
people
people
in.
some insight.
If you're still watching now,
Yeah, I mean,
God bless you. Real fans.
Kudos
You're
to
the
you.
Real fans. By the way, we're giving away now.
We should
Yeah,
give
no.
something
Hope
away
to
if they watch
you
the
know,
whole
let us
thing.
know if there's you know, you want us to do this again, and if so, what subject matters you'd like us to cover.
yeah, check out
Please
my
give us something to
check
talk
out my
about.
interview from Raj from earlier today.
We did an interview with Ken earlier today. Check it out. And yeah.
We'll do another interview soon with Raj.
Yeah,
Raj.
That will
this
be
time
fun.
Raj will be the interviewee.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Gonna
good.
grill Raj.
All right, well, listen, signing off. Video Creators
Signing
Lounge.
off from Video
Signing
Creators
off.
Lounge.
Thank you.
See you later, creator.
Bye.
See you later, creator. I love it.
I like see you later,